Welcome back to Becoming Ultimate Masters. Today, we're taking you to the heart of Africa. We're going to be exploring the world of African creation myths.
Yeah, these stories are fascinating. Passed down through generations, they give us insight into humanity's relationship with the divine and the essence of existence.
Exactly. We've got 5 creation myths for you today, from the Yoruba, Ife and Nyamwezi, and 2 from Ghana, the Wasa and Basari.
And each myth is unique, but they all offer a glimpse into the beliefs and values of these cultures.
Right, and while they use different narratives, they often touch upon universal themes, like the nature of creation, the role of humanity, and the presence of a higher power.
Absolutely.
So let's start with the Yoruba creation myth. This one has some really vivid imagery. So imagine this. The supreme god, Olodumare, entrusts the creation of earth to the Orisha Obatalá. He's lowered to the primordial waters on a golden chain, carrying a bag of earth, and accompanied by a 5-toed hen.
Wow, that's pretty powerful imagery. And this idea of delegated creation is so fascinating. It suggests that in the Yoruba belief system, divine power isn't concentrated in just one being.
So like a cosmic collaboration.
Precisely. Each deity contributes their unique abilities to bring the world into being. And this concept of shared divine power, you see it throughout African mythology. Like the Bambara people believe that the world was created by the god Pharaoh, but under the authority of the supreme god Amma. So it speaks to a hierarchy within the spiritual realm.
That makes you think about the implications of this shared power dynamic. Does it mean a more like egalitarian view of the divine, or does it reinforce a sense of order and hierarchy within the cosmos?
That's a really great question. It definitely opens up a lot of avenues for interpretation and reflection.
Okay, let's go to the Congo. We're going to look at the Ife creation myth. This one's a bit different. It's about the first human Batatsi. And there's one rule: don't eat the fruit from the tahu tree.
Oh yeah, that sounds a bit familiar, like the Garden of Eden. But what's interesting here is that Batatsi doesn't break the rule. His wife does, his pregnant wife. She can't resist the fruit.
It's like the power of desire and the consequences of temptation. And those consequences are huge in this myth. Disobedience brings death into the world.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that choices have implications, even small ones.
Definitely. Okay, let's move on to the Nyamwezi creation myth from Tanzania. It explores love, loss, jealousy, and the fragility of life. In this myth, the creator Shida Matunda is heartbroken when his wife dies. And then a plant sprouts from her grave.
So there's a glimmer of hope for her resurrection.
Yeah. But of course, things don't go to plan. Shida Matunda's other wife, she's jealous and destroys the plant.
Wow.
And that act brings death to all living beings. It's tragic. Human emotions spiraling out of control.
Yeah, it's like a reminder of how powerful jealousy is and how it can lead to unintended consequences. It shows how interconnected everything is. One act of destruction can affect the whole world.
Like a cautionary tale about the power of negative emotions and how important it is to harness them wisely.
Exactly. These myths aren't just stories from the past. They reflect the human condition. They offer insights into emotions and choices.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how our actions have consequences that affect everything around us. So let's move on to the Wasa creation myth from Ghana. This one focuses on God's desire for companionship.
It's unique. God creates the world because he's longing for connection. It's like he's creating a partner. And then he populates the earth with spirits, and they act as these intermediaries between him and the world.
So instead of hierarchy and delegation like in some of those other myths, this one emphasizes relationships and connection.
Exactly. It shows a different side of the divine, a God who wants companionship and wants to be close to his creation.
Right. Okay, our final myth for today is the Basar creation myth. It's also from Ghana. And it's very structured, like a step-by-step guide to creation.
It is. First, he creates the pillars of heaven, then the sun and moon, and then clouds, a cockerel, rain, rainbows, assistance, and finally humans and animals. It's like a blueprint for the universe, where everything has its place and purpose.
Yeah, and then there are these fascinating little details, like the moon is dimmer than the sun because it was thrown in the mud when they were quarreling, and the cockerel crows during thunder, and the rainbow is male on one side and female on the other.
Yeah, those details aren't just random additions, they're symbolic. The moon being dimmer is a reminder about conflict and how important harmony is.
It's amazing how much meaning can be packed into those little details.
It is. It reminds us to look deeper, beyond the surface, for those layers of symbolism and meaning.
So we've heard the narratives of these 5 creation myths. Now let's step back and look at some of the core concepts. We've already talked about creation by delegation. What other ideas are worth exploring?
Well, one of the most fundamental concepts is creation ex nihilo, creation out of nothing. A lot of these myths use different storytelling techniques, but many of them point to this idea of a powerful God who creates the universe from nothing.
So before creation, there was only God, and everything else came from him.
Right. The stars, the planets, life itself, all of it came from this divine source.
Wow. It's a powerful concept.
It is. It really speaks to God's creative power. And it's not just about the initial act of creation. It also suggests that God is the source of all being and existence.
Another thing that I noticed is that they emphasize order in the creation process. It's like creation unfolds in this very structured way.
Yeah, that's important. It reflects a belief in a structured universe. Everything has its place. And humans are at the center of it all. And we have to maintain that order.
So we have a responsibility to safeguard creation.
Right. It highlights the connection between humans and the divine, and the importance of living in harmony with the natural world.
Now, along with order, there's also this idea of divine providence. God doesn't just create the world and then leave it alone. He's still involved.
Exactly. It's not a hands-off approach. These myths show a God who is active in the world. He responds to prayers. He intervenes in human affairs. He makes sure that life continues.
It's nice to think that there's a higher power watching over us.
It does offer a sense of security
Hmm.
and purpose. It tells us that we're not alone.
So we've explored these 5 creation myths and talked about some of their main ideas. Why do you think these African creation myths are so compelling? And not just for scholars, but for anyone who wants to understand the world better. For me, it's the imagery. They take these big philosophical ideas and weave them into these stories, relatable stories. They're not just abstract ideas. They really speak to your heart and your imagination.
Yeah, they give us a glimpse into how these cultures see the world, their beliefs about reality, the role of humanity, the connection between the physical and spiritual, and they do it in a way that makes you think.
It's like they're giving us a new way to see the world. They make us question our own assumptions and consider different perspectives.
Exactly. And that's why they're still relevant today. They remind us that there are so many ways to understand the world, and that wisdom can come from anywhere, even from ancient myths.
So what's the one thing you hope listeners will take away from this, especially those who are hearing these myths for the first time?
I think it's the deeper meaning, the symbolism woven into the stories. Don't just take them at face value. Ask questions. Think about the mysteries of existence, the connections between humanity and the divine, and the natural world.
That's a great point. Even ancient myths can give us new perspectives and timeless wisdom. It can help us understand ourselves and the world around us.
And they can inspire us to keep exploring, keep learning, keep searching for a deeper understanding of our place in the universe.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into African creation myths. We've traveled across the continent, we've explored 5 different stories, and uncovered the beliefs and values that shape these cultures.
It's been great sharing these insights with you and our listeners.
And to our amazing listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope this episode has made you curious about African mythology and its legacy. If you enjoyed it, please share it. Share it with your friends and family. Spread the wisdom and wonder of these ancient stories.
There's always something new to discover, to learn, to share.
That's right. Make sure to check back daily for new episodes of Becoming Ultimate Masters. We'll be exploring more fascinating topics and diving deep into human knowledge and experience.
And if you're ready to start your own journey of self-discovery, we invite you to visit our website, www.ultimatemasters.org coaching, or send us a message on WhatsApp at +256 775 324 119. We're here to support you.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving to become the ultimate master of your own life.